Right now, somewhere in the world, someone just like you is waking up, angry, frustrated, and confused. They've been grinding, they've read the books, they've watched the motivational videos, and yet nothing is changing. Their life still feels stuck, frozen in place like time has stopped. But here's the truth. No one is telling you. It's not your motivation, it's not your intelligence, it's your internal prison, the one you don't even know you're in. And if you don't learn to see it, you'll wake up 10 years from now with the same goals, the same regrets, and the same invisible chains. This is not a motivational speech. This is a wake-up call. This is a breakdown of why you're stuck and the brutal roadmap to break out forever. Get ready. This might be the most important 20 minutes of your life. Let's start here. We've all been sold a beautifully packaged lie. If you work hard, if you stay positive, if you hustle, you'll make it. But that's not always true. Because if your efforts are misaligned with your identity, you'll sabotage yourself. If your goals contradict your beliefs, you'll stall. If your environment is toxic, you'll drown. Even with all the ambition in the world, the first reason you're stuck, your identity hasn't upgraded. Your brain is programmed for consistency. It will work overtime to keep your life aligned with the person you believe you are. If deep down, you still see yourself as the lazy one, or the failure, or the guy who never finishes anything, no amount of goals will override that identity. It's like trying to run new software on a broken operating system. Until you fix who you think you are, your external world will never change. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your self-image. The second reason you're stuck? Comfort. Not just physical comfort, emotional comfort. We cling to what's familiar, even if it's painful. You're comfortable with failure because it doesn't require change. You're comfortable with mediocrity because success means responsibility. You're comfortable with excuses because they protect your ego. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people would rather stay stuck in a familiar hell than step into an unfamiliar heaven. Change demands confrontation, confronting your habits, confronting your relationships, confronting the stories you keep repeating in your head. But comfort will whisper, "You're fine. It's not the right time. You don't want to fail again." And that voice will kill your future in silence. You know you're meant for more, but every time you try to build something, life pulls you back. Netflix, scrolling, fast food. That toxic relationship you haven't cut off. None of it feels like a big deal, but stacked together, it's death by 1,000 distractions. This is not laziness, this is avoidance. Because if you slowed down and looked closely, you'd have to admit that you're not proud of the person you're becoming. You'd have to face your potential and the shame of wasting it. So instead, you stay busy, you stay distracted, you stay numb. Every action you take or don't take is based on a script, a subconscious program written over decades, your childhood, your parents, school, society. They've all left fingerprints on your brain. Play it safe. Don't speak up. You're not good enough. Now you're an adult, still living by those outdated scripts. You're stuck not because you're weak, but because the software running your life is broken, and no one taught you how to rewrite it. There's a moment, if you're lucky, where everything clicks. You look at your life, and for the first time, you stop blaming everyone else. You stop making excuses. You stop negotiating with your potential, and you say, "This is not who I want to be." That's the moment your old identity dies, and a new one begins to form, not from fake motivation, but from clarity, from raw, ruthless honesty. That's what this video is. your moment, your mirror, not to shame you, but to wake you up. We're going to expose the hidden systems that keep you stuck and show you how to start dismantling them. This is not theory. It's battle-tested, in the dirt, from the trenches transformation. If you felt like you're meant for more, if you're tired of being stuck in your head, if you're ready to break free from who you've been and become who you were meant to be, then stay with me, because the real work starts now. 1. Your identity is glued to your past. Most people don't realize that the biggest obstacle to change isn't the external world. It's the story you keep telling yourself about who you are. I've always been like this. I'm just not that type of person. I've failed too many times already. You're not stuck because you can't change. You're stuck because you think change means becoming someone you're not, when in reality, growth means becoming more of who you actually are without the baggage. Reframe. Instead of saying, "This is just who I am," ask, "Who do I need to become to live the life I want?" 2. You're addicted to certainty. Let's be honest. Most people would rather live a predictable, unfulfilling life than a risky, extraordinary one. Why? Because certainty is a drug. You want to know that your effort will pay off, that your plan will work, that you won't embarrass yourself. But life doesn't work like that. You're stuck because you've traded progress for protection. You've chosen to stay in the same place because at least here, you know the rules. Reality check. Growth lives in uncertainty. The most successful people in the world are the most comfortable being uncomfortable. 3. You're surrounded by people who reinforce your limitations. Your environment isn't neutral. The people you hang around either reflect your excuses back at you, or they challenge your limits. Most people are surrounded by the first kind. Your friend who tells you to relax instead of start that project. The coworker who rolls their eyes when you say you're quitting junk food. The family member who says you're too ambitious. It's not that they hate you, they're just uncomfortable watching you try to rise above a level they've accepted. Warning, if you stay around people who validate your mediocrity, you will never escape it. 4. You avoid discomfort instead of conquering it. Discomfort isn't your enemy. It's the entry fee for greatness. And yet, the moment it shows up, most people hit snooze. Skip the workout, avoid the difficult conversation, postpone the bold decision. They choose the easy now and sacrifice the fulfilling later. Cycle. Avoid discomfort. Feel shame. Distract yourself. Get further stuck. The people who break free are not those who are fearless. They're the ones who walk into discomfort so many times it stops scaring them. 5. You keep waiting for permission. This is one of the most insidious traps. Waiting for someone to approve your journey. For a sign. For a mentor. For your parents to be proud. For your partner to believe in you. For someone else to say, "Go." But what if no one ever does? You have to understand, no one is coming to rescue you. No one is going to hand you permission to change your life. Permission isn't given, it's claimed. You decide when you begin. 6. You confuse motion with progress. You read books, you watch videos, you plan, you brainstorm, you journal, you dream. And yet, nothing in your life changes. Why? Because you're moving, but not acting. You've fallen into the trap of productive procrastination. You don't need more strategies. You need more courage. You don't need more preparation. You need more execution. 7. You've never felt the pain of regret. Deep enough. Let's be raw for a second. You're not stuck because you lack information. You're stuck because you haven't yet suffered enough from the cost of inaction. But that pain is coming. And when it does, it'll hit hard. The moment you wake up and 10 years have passed. The moment you see someone else living your dream. The moment you realize one day never came. Don't wait for that moment. Let regret become your fuel, not your fate. 8. You don't truly believe you deserve more deep down. Some part of you still clings to the belief that you're not worthy of the life you want. So you self-sabotage. You start the habit, then stop. You get close to a breakthrough, then retreat. You dismiss compliments, doubt success, deflect love. Why? Because you haven't yet rewritten the belief that you are allowed to win. Mindset shift. You don't get what you want. You get what you're willing to fight for because you believe it's yours. Now that we've uncovered the invisible barriers keeping you stuck, the real question becomes, how do you finally break out and stay out forever? That's exactly what we're tackling in the next part. Let's get into it. If you're still stuck, it's likely because you're waiting to feel ready. You're waiting for the perfect moment. You're waiting for absolute clarity. You're waiting until you're sure. But here's the truth. Clarity comes from action, not the other way around. You don't find your purpose by sitting still. You find it by doing, failing, adjusting. You don't become confident by waiting. You become confident by showing up scared and doing it anyway. The breakthrough begins the moment you stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And instead ask, what happens if I don't try? You've probably set goals before, maybe even big ones, but you're still stuck. Why? Because you're relying on motivation instead of systems. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are automatic. If you want to change your body, create a system for training. If you want to build wealth, create a system for saving and investing. If you want to master a skill, create a system of daily practice. Discipline isn't about intensity. It's about consistency. You break out by building boring habits that produce extraordinary results. You're stuck because you keep leaving the door open, the one that leads back to safety, to comfort, to mediocrity. Burn it. When you have a backup plan, you give your fear a place to hide. When you kinda want it, you never do what it takes. But when there is no plan B, your only option is to grow or die. You don't need another YouTube video. You need to do something so bold it scares the old you into extinction. Let today be the day you go all in. You are not broken. You're just overwhelmed. The notifications, the scrolling, the endless advice, they don't help you grow. They drown your instincts. You can't hear your own thoughts because you've been hijacked by everyone else's. Here's how to reclaim your signal. Turn your phone off for an hour a day. Spend time alone without input. Write, think, walk, reconnect with your own voice. Breakthroughs come in silence, not noise. Your clarity is buried under the chaos. Dig it out. There's a version of you watching everything you do. He sees you when you skip the workout. She notices when you scroll instead of study. They feel the pain every time you say, tomorrow. The person you want to become is waiting for you to act like them now. You don't become disciplined and then start. You start and then you become disciplined. Act like the future you today. Walk like them, talk like them, decide like them, and eventually, you'll become them. If this video lit a fire in you, don't let the spark die here. Subscribe, like the video, and drop a comment. I'm done being stuck, so I know you're serious. Also, I've linked powerful tools and resources in the description to help you go deeper. We're building something powerful here, a community of people who are done making excuses. Are you one of us? Let's break out for good. This is Elevate Your Mindset. Let's rise.